Hey everybody, welcome to Crafty Kiara. And today we are going to be making some flower pots and other gardening containers out of a few of your common household items. Now, yes, you can go and buy flower pots and you can buy containers for them, but they tend to be a little bit more expensive than what I want to use. And if I have stuff like this laying around that I could repurpose, that's even better. So I do know that you can go to the gardening centers a lot of times and they can give you the nursery pots, but sometimes you might want something a little bit more creative and colorful in your garden area. So I do have some various areas around the house, which I'll show you the little video about that here in a second. And these are what these are going to go into. Now these are just a few things I'm going to be starting on. I'm going to show you different things in different videos as we go along, but today's project is going to be using these icy containers that are left over and these dog food cans to make some hanging flower pots and then just some regular little colorful flower pots that we're going to do after we add some drainage. So this area outside here is actually outside of my master bathroom. There's sliding glass doors here and it exits into this little patio area that they had outside the house, and I refer to it as Narnia. Has this little door over here that I need to fix at some point, but it is a nice little space if you wanted to have a little garden area. So I've been working on this out here. The wood had rotted out on this side of the wall, so I had went ahead and put in some doors that were left over from the house when we took them down various spots, and I had painted in here and added chicken wire so I can hang some containers for plants. So I have this area here and I'm going to be working on making some hanging containers, and then over here I made a cinder block planter. So this is another thing that you can do. It's pretty straightforward. You have your various cinder blocks and you can design them in any kind of pattern that you want. And then one of the things I did was take some landscape fabric here and put it down below in the cinder blocks that I'm going to plant in. So you can see the fabric down there. And I haven't added any soil yet because I am not sure exactly what I want to plant yet, and I want to make sure I put the right kind of soil, but I do have the planter ready. Now there's different landscaping things that we're going to be talking about as well throughout some different videos, and one of them is doing hardscaping with various materials. And this here actually is the broken up pieces of the old toilets that were in this house. Now, this house was built in 1967 and it still had the original green and blue toilets that went here. I had replaced those. They were sitting out here in Narnia, so I decided to break them up and do hardscape because I don't want to plant anything in this area, nor do I want anything to grow grass-wise or weed-wise, because I need to be able to get to my hurricane shutters that I have right here. So I broke them up, and it adds a nice little colorful area here in Narnia, and I put some edging here to keep it contained. I would probably do the same thing down on this end. You see I have plenty more of those pieces, and set up my wooden ladder and have some plants there, just to kind of give that a decorative element over there. And then I have a few more doors, and that'll finish off this corner, and I will probably replace that door there that goes to the outside. And then probably just do some stepping stones there. But those are going to be projects that are going to be later on down the road. So let's start off with our icy cups here. Now, these are just your basic icy cups. I couldn't tell you how many ounces they are. These happen to be Luigi's. There's a lot of other cups that you can get everywhere. And I've got quite a few of them here. So one of the biggest things you want to do with any of your containers is you want to make sure that you have proper drainage. So in this case, I happen to have this really, really long needle. I couldn't tell you where I got it. I've had it forever. Let me zoom in here. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to add drainage holes to here. Now you can use a nail, you can use pretty much anything that has a sharp point on it. You just got to be careful and don't just jam it into the container. You want to make sure that you go slowly. I would not use a drill on this because it's going to grab the plastic and it could like rip it and crack it. You want to be able to go slow. This plastic's still pretty soft. It's not brittle, it hasn't been out in the sun, so it'll be easy to make your drain holes. So let me get a little closer so you can see what I'm doing here. Okay, so go a little further. Alright, so here we have our container. And I'm going to go ahead and do a couple holes here at the bottom. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make quite a few, and then when I actually do the plant, I'm going to cut out a little circle of landscape fabric to put in the bottom so we don't have a bunch of soil come out. Now if you're using potting soil, usually it's a little bit chunky, so it isn't going to come out. If you're going to use like a topsoil, which you could use, is a little bit finer and there's grains and you might have stuff everywhere. Now these ideally are going to be going out onto the porch area, and they're going to be sitting, and then they can drain out properly. Now besides doing holes on the bottom, I am going to do some on the side to make sure that the water can escape properly. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and put a hole right here in the middle. And I'm going to do all the holes before I paint them. So just kind of do that. You got a nice hole there. And by doing it from the outside, you're getting all the like little like peaks and ridges and hard spots on the inside. So I'm just gonna kind of go out from there. Again, you can use a nail to do this. You don't have to use a giant needle. I just happen to have one. Kind of going around the edges here, and I'm going to make an X, as you can see here. And then I'm gonna go kind of in between here and make another X in between. Look on the inside here. Hope you can see that in there. And just put straight across. Don't poke yourself. And then pull it through. Now in this case, you're going to have a little bit of a pucker here on the outside, but that's not a huge deal. So I'm going to put 4 of those around here. Now since these are going to be outside, I don't have to worry about them overflowing and getting onto bookcases or any of that sort of stuff, because if it does have a little bit more water than I want and it drains out, it's not a huge deal because it'll just be outside to begin with. Alright, so here we have our holes here and holes on the side. And you're going to want to do that for all of these containers. Now these, I don't recommend putting holes at the top and then making something where you can hold it over like a bucket. These I'm just going to have sitting there, and I'm going to paint these so they're going to be nice, bright, little colored little pots that we can use. So I'll do more of those in a minute. Now I'm going to be using a 1/8 inch drill bit. Make sure you get one that can go through metal. And I'm going to use this on our metal containers that I have here. Now these are just dog food containers that I have for Kiara. I chose these because it had the pull top, so I don't have that really sharp edge on the inside from using the can opener. So I was pretty happy with that. So what I want to do here is I put some drain holes on the bottom, and since this is actually going to become a hanging planter, I'm going to put a few holes on the side if I can, and then we're going to attach this metal wire. Now this is actually wire that you would use for suspended ceilings, and I actually use this wire to make different frames and stuff for wreaths, but today I'm going to use a little bit of it to make basically like little buckets that we can use out in the other garden area to hang on the chicken wire. So we'll see how well this works and go from there. If you do not have wire like this, you can always use rope, you can use string, you can use whatever you want to. You can even use thin wire to wrap around. If you don't want to make it look like a little bucket, you don't have to. You can just wrap wire around this and hang it somewhere. You have quite a few different options with that. I'm going to start in the center and just go slow. Now you don't want to push too hard because you might jam into your table depending on how big of a drill bit you're using. And be mindful, you're going to have little pieces of metal come off the can. So you want to make sure you have a nice area here where you can sweep it up. So here we have our hole in the center. That wasn't too bad to do. Now we're going to do the other ones. Now I didn't hold on to it last time because I just wanted to show you what would happen if you didn't hold on to the can. So now you want to hold on to the can here and drill some more holes. I'm going to do 5. If you feel like you need to do more than that, you can do that too. And again, you're going to have little pieces of metal. You just want to be careful that they don't go in your eye. Make sure you wash your hands and stuff like that. So here we have our 5 holes, and then you can see through there. And I want to try to attempt to put a hole on the side here. So I'm going to do one, and then I'm going to line it up to try to do the other one so we can make this look like a little hanging bucket. I'm going to hold your can, and you go slow. You don't have to go crazy when you're speeding through here. And just push down. And we got our nice little hole on the side. So you're going to turn the can, and you should be able to see your hole, depending on how you're holding your can, whether you're left or right hand. You should be able to see the hole, and you want to try to line up your drill bit. It does not have to be perfect, because you can bend your handle wire any way you want. But you want to try to go where you have plenty of lip. So there we go. I don't think that's too bad. And we have our hole on both sides. And the cups, they are painted the different colors, and they are all drying right now. On these smaller Icy Cups, I flipped them over and painted the inside edge down to like the first ridge, because you're going to put the soil in there. And I don't want it to necessarily show just white. I wanted to have the color show up on the top, so that's what I did here. So I cut my I cut my wire that I'm going to use for the bucket handles, and I made them just about 10 inches. This one's kind of bent a little bit, but just about 10 inches. You can use floral wire. I thought about that. You can also use floral wire if you want, and I know you can pick that up at the dollar store, so you don't have a huge expense. Again, you can use rope if you want, or even ribbon or some other things, depending on how you want to make your little bucket. I'm going to want to make it where it'll hook on there. So that means I'm going to need to make a bend in the wire, and I'm going to go ahead and just use a pair of pliers here and make a slight bend. Now you don't want it to be too narrow here, because you still need to slide it through and open into the hole there. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger again, just to make sure it's kind of more like a hook. And then I'm going to work it through the side of the can here, like so. So we've got the one side there. And then I'm just going to take my pliers and crimp it down so it will stay in place. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to make the hook on the other end here to go through. And again, I don't want it to be too narrow here. I need it to go through the can. Alright, so I lined it up and push it through. I'm going to need to hold it in place while I kind of bend the wire back up. So it's definitely kind of hard to do a little bit if you don't have enough hands in this case. So I'm kind of getting it there. Alright, I'm going to crimp that so I have my little bucket. Now, of course, I'm going to bend the handle a little bit more to make it look more like a bucket. And that is it. So we'll see what we can do with additional containers that I come up with around the house to make different planters, but this is kind of the general idea. Like I said, I'll probably put a little bit of landscape fabric in the bottom, and then we can put our potting soil in, and I will have them out in the garden area. So I'm pretty excited how these came out. I don't know if you've looked online, but you can buy buckets for planting, but they're kind of expensive and you only get a couple, where here, as long as you have some wire, and like I said, you could probably use floral wire for this, and you have canned goods, you can pretty much make your own colorful little buckets with just a little bit of paint, a little bit of time, and a drill bit. So that's pretty much it for today. We will focus on making some other outdoor craft items in the future, and hopefully I'll have some plants growing that I can show you that have worked in our little planters that we've made today. So if you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to our channel. Please keep following me on social media, and don't forget to check out Crafty Kiara shop on Etsy. We are going to put some different things in there, and that is about it. So I will see you in the next video. If you liked what you saw in the video, please like and subscribe to us on YouTube here. You can also follow us on social media. You can also follow us and check out our blog at craftykiara.com. And of course, you can go check out our shop on Etsy for Crafty Kiara Shop. That's all for today, and I'll see you at the next video.